Recording start. Recording start. Okay. Okay. Good morning. In the last class, we have seen the explosive forming technique, and we have seen the types of explosive forming. There are basically two types of explosive forming, or two techniques. That is, first one is stand-off technique, and other is the contact technique. So in stand-off technique, there is nothing but the explosive is kept at a particular distance away from the workpiece, and it is not kept in contact with the workpiece. So we keep a stand-off distance, particular distance from the workpiece. So that is the stand-off technique. And another name that is unconfined type. So unconfined or stand-off technique is nothing but it is the explosive forming where the explosive, whichever explosive is there, it is being detonated at a particular distance away from the workpiece, and the shock pulses or the stress waves produced will be propagated through the intervening medium, mainly water, and this pressure pulse will reaches the workpiece and it may help to plastically deform it. And in the case of contact technique, this is detonated mainly while the workpiece, the explosive, whichever explosive is there, it is made in the form of a cartridge and it is placed on the workpiece or placed in contact with the workpiece. And this is mainly used for cases or for the application of bulging the tubes and all, where high pressures are possible of the range 30,000 megapascal. So the now we have seen some of the advantages, basic advantages of while using the explosive forming. Next, we will see the limitations. What are the major limitations or disadvantages of using explosive forming over the conventional forming? So the limitations or disadvantages of the explosive forming. So first one, here we have to have a optimum stand-off distance. Optimum stand-off distance should be maintained. That means there should be should not be much high, or it should not go below the value. There should be an optimum value, or we have to keep the optimum stand-off distance in order to maintain the efficient machining or the forming process using explosive forming. So the value should be optimum. Next, here in the case of any high velocity forming, here also the vacuum should be maintained in order to have the functioning. So vacuum is essential. Vacuum is essential. So there will be some cost associated with maintaining the vacuum. So there will be some cost. Next, the dies through which the mold is being created, the workpiece is being formed, it should be larger and thicker. So the dies should be larger and thicker in order to withstand the shocks. We are having the pressure waves, so huge shocks will be there. So in order to withstand that, the dies should be larger and thicker. Next, this is only meant for the huge workpieces or huge works, and for thin, delicate materials, it should not be used or cannot be used. So not suitable for small and thin works. Next is here we are using the explosive. We already mentioned this thing, that is, while using the explosives, we should get the some regulations, or we should follow some regulations of the government in order to handle carefully these explosives. So while handling this thing, we should follow that regulations. So these explosives, explosives should be carefully handled, and also we should follow the regulations, government regulations. So these are the main limitations or disadvantages of this explosive forming. Now we will see what are the main applications, or where are the application areas of explosive forming. So the applications. First one, the sheet metal panels and tubings. So in most of the sheet metal panel, we can see, and also the tubings and all, in many applications, we do this explosive forming in order to form the parts, complex parts. So first one is in sheet metal panels and tubings. Then jet engine parts, in the jet engine parts. Missile nose cones. Missile nose cones. Shipbuilding. Shipbuilding. So in shipbuilding, we use this technique. Then radar dish of the radar. Radar dish. And one more, that is the elliptical domes in space application. So in space applications, we have some elliptical shaped domes and all. So those can be formed using the this particular machine or forming process. That is sixth one, elliptical dome for space applications. Okay, So these are the main applications of explosive forming. Now, which all materials can be machined or not machined, processed using the explosive forming? That is materials. Materials, which all materials? First of all, both ferrous and non-ferrous metals like steel, aluminum, magnesium, and also their alloys. That is ferrous and non-ferrous metals like steel, aluminum, magnesium, and also their alloys. And there it's alloys. So these are the materials which can be used for the explosive forming, and also some metal matrix composites also. Metal matrix composites, type of composite. This can also be performed forming like aluminum matrix, copper matrix, lead matrix, composites, etc. So these types of materials can be used. Now we see in the procedure, in the forming process of explosive forming, we use a medium, mainly water. So what are the main roles of using the water, or the function of this particular agent or the transfer medium? So role of the transfer medium or transfer medium, that is usually water. So what is the role or the function? First of all, it acts as an energy transfer medium. Acts as energy transfer medium. So while exploding, the energy, which all energy is liberated, it is being transferred to the workpiece through this particular transfer medium or water. So this act as an energy transfer medium. So that is the first function. Then it ensures the uniform transmission of energy. So which all energy is being transmitted, it should be uniformly distributed. And how it is uniformly distributed? Through this water or the transfer medium. So it ensures the uniform transmission of energy. Then, so while exploding, there will be huge noise, possibility of huge noise if any medium is not present. So while exploding beneath the water, then we can reduce the effect of the noise. So it muffles the sound of explosion. And finally, one more, there is a cushioning effect. It will give a cushioning effect or the smooth application of energy on the work without any direct contact. So in the case without any direct contact, that is the mainly concerning about the Standoff technique. In those case, there is no direct contact, but we can apply the energy in a smooth manner or cushioning manner. Cushioning or smooth application of energy on the work without the direct contact. So these are the role of the transfer medium. Then now what are the process variables? Which are the process variables associated with the process, particularly high velocity, that is explosive forming? What are the various process variables like standoff distance, medium, work size, like that? So the process variables will list out the process variables. First one, type and amount of explosive, the main component, that is type and amount of explosives. So the forming process or the rate of production, these all or the surface quality, anything depends on certain process variables. The first process variable is type and amount. What is the type of explosive? Depending on the type of the explosives used or the amount of explosives used will or the final product may vary, or the final process may vary, or the quality of the product may vary. Second one, standoff distance. Standoff distance. Standoff distance means nothing but the distance of the explosives or the distance of the location of the explosive from the workpiece. That is a standoff distance. So this also affects the properties of the final product. Next, third one, the medium used. Mainly it is water. So depending on the medium also, it may vary. So medium to transmit the energy. Fourth one, work size. That means the size of the workpiece. Depending on the size of the workpiece, the final quality also vary. Fifth one, work material property. 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 It is the property of the work material. Next, vacuum in the die. So these are the process variables. First one, type and amount of the explosive. Then standoff distance. Then third one is the medium. So the medium through which the energy is being transmitted, or the shock pulses or pressure waves are transmitted. Fourth one, the work size of the workpiece. Then the property, material property, which is the property of the workpiece. And finally, the amount of vacuum, or the vacuum also vacuum created in order to have the process. So these are the basic process variables. Now, next we go for the last topic, that is electro-hydraulic forming. So we'll see what is an electro-hydraulic forming. electrohydraulic forming. So electrohydraulic forming or electrospark forming, we can also call it as electrospark forming. So this is nothing but similar to explosive forming. In explosive forming, what we see is the main input of energy, or how the forming is done. The input is the explosives or the pressure waves created from the explosives or the explosion. Once it is detonated, the pressure waves will be generated and it will be transmitted through the medium and we will reach the workpiece and deform the material. In electrospark forming or electrohydraulic forming, a spark is generated. So using a sudden electric discharge, a spark is created between two electrodes. So between two electrodes, a spark is generated, and this spark is created beneath the medium, water, anything, mainly water. In the same case like that of the explosive forming. So while a spark is being generated, what happens is the adjacent medium or water, it will be, what happens, the temperature will be high, or the temperature will increase, and the adjacent medium will start vaporizing. So as the energy or the which all energy is produced is tremendously high due to the spark, so the vaporization will be more, and due to this vaporization, what happens is a shock wave will be formed, or a shock wave will be produced due to the vaporization, and this shock wave will reach the workpiece and deforms the workpiece or collapse it into the die, in the like in the case of the what we see in the explosive die or explosive forming. Here also this will deform or collapse it into the die. So in this particular process, electrohydraulic forming or electrospark forming, how the energy conversion is there? That is the electrical energy is converted into mechanical energy. How it is converted? Electrical energy in the terms of spark. Using electrical energy, high or sudden electric discharge is formed in the form of sparks, and using this spark, the medium is vaporized, and using this pressure waves are created, and this helps in deformation of the material. That is a mechanical energy deformation. So in this process, the electrical energy is being transferred to mechanical energy in this manner. Okay. Now, in the case of EDM and all, we have seen how the sparks are generated. How the spark is generated? We have some circuits associated with the mechanism. So in that circuit, there will be a capacitor, and using this capacitor, what we do is we store the energy in the capacitor, and later we will discharge the energy or discharge the energy using the capacitor or the capacitor bank. We will discharge it at the time of demand. So at that time, a huge amount of energy will be discharged. As a result, the spark is being generated. So in this case, also we use a capacitor bank for discharging, and using the capacitor bank, we produce the spark in the inside the medium, say water. So then what happens is the adjacent medium will vaporize, and while vaporizing, it may create the or produce the shock waves, and this shock waves reaches the die surface and all. So we'll consider the figure like okay, you have some electrodes like this. So suppose you have a die like this. Here you can use a vacuum. So this portion will be vacuum. This is the workpiece, and you can see two electrodes. That is two electrodes. So inside that, the spark is being generated. So here you have the medium. So the spark is generated. Due to the spark, what happens is the adjacent particles here, the vaporization will be there, and due to which pressure waves will be created, and this pressure will reaches the workpiece, and it will force or deform, collapse the workpiece along the mold, and the final product will be obtained. So this is the electrohydraulic forming. So now regarding the advantages, disadvantages, applications, etc., that we will see in the next class. Okay.